Hello viewers, welcome back to BCM Breaking News. So guys, thank you for joining in. So Tinubu's illegitimate government has collected or requested for another fresh loan of 1.77 trillion naira, guys. Imagine, like, I don't want what is happening. Wonder shall never end in this country. So with all the ones he has been borrowing, we have not seen any, positive. We have not seen any change. He did not use the money properly. He has gone again to request for 1.77 trillion naira, guys, in this country that we don't even experience any change. Tinubu, all he knows is how to borrow, borrow, and borrow. That's what his government, know how to do, guys. As it stands, with what the World Bank released recently, it's Tinubu. With what the World Bank released recently, Nigeria ranks the third indebted country in the world. Imagine, this is consigning. So, guys, let's take a reaction from Aisha Yusuf.
Hello, everyone. And so here is Tinubu. Atiku says Tinubu's loans powered by corruption, not infrastructure or development needs. And this is the thing about people who always talk about loans that are being collected. I saw some of, Tinubu's supporters coming out to say that, they need to collect more loans to do this. It depends on what the loan is being used for. No, but everybody knows that if you borrow money to buy assets, that's good debt. But if you borrow money to buy liability, to get yourself liability, that's bad debt. And that's exactly what we've been doing here. So what you find out that is that most of these monies, they are just being, they don't act as conduit by, they bring us big project, humongous project, and monies are being siphoned anyhow. So that's not good debt that is being used to acquire assets. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has expressed deep concern over Nigeria's escalating debt following a World Bank report ranking the country as the third most indebted nation to the International Development Association, IDA. Taking to his official X handle, Atiku criticized the Tinubu administration's borrowing policies, describing the government's approach as a bone-crushing burden on Nigerians. His remarks came amid reports that the federal government has submitted a proposal to the National Assembly seeking to borrow an additional 1.7 trillion through Euro bonds to address a shortfall in the 2024 budget. One of the things I just want us to do is to just take a moment, pause, think about it. Tinubu had to go to the National Assembly for him to be able to borrow this money. There's no how he can go ahead and borrow this money without the approval of the National Assembly. So what does that tell us if we are able to just come together and focus on the National Assembly and take care of the National Assembly? We'll be able to have a lot of checks and balances in place, and the National Assembly will, of course, serve as activists for us, serve and put an eye on the executive and hold the executive, accountable. And so it's very important the kind of people we vote into the legislative arm of government. And it's usually, like I always say, legislative arm of the government is the bedrock of democracy. At the end of the day, that's the place where real power is. Atiku questioned the rationale behind the new loan proposal, which is benchmarked at an exchange. What? I don't understand. Benchmarked at an exchange rate of 800 naira to $1, despite the Central Bank of Nigeria's current exchange rate standing at over 1,600 naira to $1. So that means this loan that they are trying to collect now is more than, it's about 3.4 trillion naira. Whoa. Hey. Oh, Vancouver. Hey. Iri kala. Now, wow. Atiku alleged that corruption rather than developmental needs is driving the government's appetite for loans, referencing a report by Boji that described the 2024 budget as being riddled with excessive allocations or pork. The statement partly reads the recent report released by the World Bank showing Nigeria as the third most indebted country to the United International Development Association (IRA) is very concerning. This report is coming just when the government has already sent a proposal to the National Assembly signaling an intention to borrow an additional 1.7 trillion being shortfall in the 2024 budget. What makes this particular loan proposal even more concerning is that it benchmarked at the exchange rate of $1 to 800 naira, whereas the current exchange rate from the Central Bank of Nigeria stands at over 1,600 to a dollar. Nigeria is sinking further into debt, and the National Assembly has become an accomplice once more. In July this year, Tinubu boasted that the FIRS Nigeria and the Custom NG under his watch had collected all-time high revenues to finance the budget. Why are they still borrowing? There is something that they are not telling Nigerians, even as they are being crushed by the combination of their failed trial and error practices and loan rackets. These official BAT loans are bone crushing to Nigerians and bringing insufferable pressure on the economy, especially when they are not properly negotiated and utilized. It is concerning that the voracious appetite for these humongous loans is powered by corruption and not for infrastructure and development needs. A report by a budget watchdog, has disclosed that the 2024 budget is a mess because of the level of pork associated with it. That's the level of padding. I feel a sense of personal agony saying that just a few years after the administration of President Obasanjo took our country out of foreign indebtedness, we are today back to the top spot in the same conundrum. It is time to apply more caution and arithmetic to the loan frenzy. But remember what I said to you earlier. All of these monies cannot, let me even remove, I have to remove my glass, let me just leave it. All of this cannot be done without the approval of the National Assembly. Even state governments, when they want to collect a foreign loan, they have to come to the National Assembly, and I think there's a law now. Their lawmakers have to approve the whole process, and it's just all over the place. It's just crazy, some of these things that are going on. And when you see all of this money is being borrowed, it's not as if they are giving you this money for free. You're going to have to pay them. Some of the generation will be paying this money, probably not yet born. Some even before they are born into Nigeria, they're already indebted. So you can imagine what this is all about. And this is something that had been paid off. Debts had been paid off. But over time, Nigeria has accumulated this debt, and they're spending money anyhow. No reduction in the cost of governance, buying things here, there, and there, building houses for judges, renovating, vice president house, both in Abuja and Lagos, buying presidential jets, buying presidential car, buying presidential yacht, carrying humongous amount of people to be traveling, all over the place, traveling, doing nothing, traveling, bringing nothing. There's just a whole lot of craziness out there that when you see this thing, you just can't even fathom the whole things that that just go on in Nigeria. But hey, as it is, we continue to talk, we continue to say this thing. It might look like one is always repeating once a year, but we need to do that, because if you don't talk, they will end up saying that, oh, nobody is complaining, oh, you all like it. If you don't like it, has anybody said anything about not liking it? So we'll continue to talk, even at the risk of us repeating ourselves. At the end of the day, it's about things that will work for Nigeria, and how do we get the best for Nigeria. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
So, guys, you heard what Aisha Yusuf said. Imagine in this country that is, that all this problem is happening, yet you still see Tinubu going to borrow loan. And then when he borrows this loan, he doesn't use it properly. He just wastes it on unnecessary things. Like Atiku has faulted Tinubu's fresh loan request, saying, he described this as bone crushing. Honestly, it is obvious that Tinubu just wants to destroy Nigeria. Like, imagine what he's doing. He has gone to borrow about 1.77 trillion again, in this government, and the point is that he knows everything that is happening in this state. He has come out to say in this G20 summit that just happened. He came out to say that Nigeria is, suffering from insecurity, suffering from hardship, that many drop out of school children don't find, they don't have food to eat. This same person that is saying this thing, imagine him going to the place where world leaders are. This is what he could say. But he keeps borrowing money from World Bank. These world leaders, they'll be like, this is not this same man that keeps borrowing money. He's the one saying that, Nigeria is suffering from, has challenges of, insecurity. Drop out of school children don't find food to eat. Nigeria is suffering. There's hardship in Nigeria. This is the same president. They'll just be laughing at him because this he keeps borrowing money, and then he doesn't use the money well. So this is what we are seeing in this country. Now he has gone to borrow another 1.77 trillion. This is not small money. And then it will end up that he will not use it to do something properly. He'll be using it for necessary things. Just like the other time. He renovated Shetima's house, both the one in Abuja and in the one in Lagos, bought New York, bought presidential jet. We will keep repeating this thing, just like Aisha said, because if you don't repeat it, they'll be like, did we talk? So imagine. So let's look at this article. So it says here, bone crushing to Nigerians. Atiku faults Tinubu's fresh loan request. A former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, has faulted President Bola Tinubu's newest request for a loan, describing it as bone crushing. The Senate has approved the 1.77 trillion, that's $2.2 billion. This is not small money. Loan request of President Tinubu after a voice vote in favor of the request. So the Senate has approved this amount, 1.77 trillion. That's $2.2 billion. Loan request of President Tinubu after a voice note in favor of the request. So, but Atiku has claimed the move and believes the loan do not favor Nigerians. These official backed loans are bone crushing to Nigerians and bringing in sufferable pressures on the economy, especially when they are not properly negotiated and utilized. Atiku wrote on his X handle on Thursday. So all this thing is just borrowing. He described this as Atiku described it as bone crushing. That is just bringing insufferable pressure on the economy, especially when they are not properly negotiated and utilized. Normally now, this money they are borrowing, it will not favor the citizens. It will not be utilized well. They'll just come and spend it on unnecessary thing. No, like you just spend it on unnecessary thing, and then tomorrow he will go and borrow, and then when he leaves tenor, he will leave the loan for the next president. You can imagine, guys. So it's not like the one that they are still owing, they have not paid that one, they are still borrowing. As it stands now, with what World Bank released recently, Nigeria has ranked third indebted country in the world. Let's read on, guys. So it is concerning that the voracious appetite for these homogeneous and not for infrastructural and development needs. So he says here that it is concerning that all these loans they are borrowing is powered by corruption and not for infrastructural and development needs. A report by Budget, a budget watchdog, has disclosed that the 2024 budget is a mess because of the level of pork associated with it. So the budget, the budget of 2024, Tinubu then said he's going to build house for Shetima. In the 2024 budget, there was Tinubu's Shetima's house. They said they're going to build house for Shetima. Nigerians complained about that. Renovate Shetima's house. Unnecessary things. That was what 2024 budget was all about. So let's keep reading on. It says he accused the National Assembly of being an accomplice once more. So it is the National Assembly that is even causing this thing. Because if you check, they are always approving these loans. At times, I don't even understand what is happening in this country. I don't understand. You're seeing that he's not using this money well, he's not utilizing the money well, he's not putting it in important sector. You keep approving loan. So Atiku accused the National Assembly of being an accomplice once more. Nigeria is sinking further into debt. It's not like we have paid we are owing. We're the third country in the world, and it's very concerning. We're the third, the people who expect Nigerians not to talk. All these things they are doing is actually affecting Nigeria, because as it stands, I heard that in Nigeria now, a citizen in this country, is owing. Every citizen in this country, as a matter of fact, is owing. That is why we have ranked third in this country. We have ranked third indebted country, the third indebted country. We have ranked third in the world. Country that is owing. We are the third country that is owing in this world. So now Nigeria is sinking further in debt, and the National Assembly has become an accomplice once more. In July this year, Tinubu boasted that the FROS Nigerian and Custom Nigerian government under his watch had collected all-time high revenues to finance the budget. The People's Democratic Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election said. So that was what Atiku said. So reading on it says, why are they still borrowing? That's one question Nigeria are asking. Why are they still borrowing? Because we don't see any. Well, okay, this money you're borrowing, what do you want to use it and do? That's the question. The ones you borrowed, we did not see any, we did not use it to do anything. So why are you still borrowing? There is something that they are not telling Nigerians, even as they are being crushed by a combination of their failed trial and error policies and loan rank. See, I believe that just like Atiku said, there is something they're not telling Nigerians. Because okay, I would like say it's because of the G20 summit that Tinubu went for in Brazil. That's why they had to grant this loan. That's why World Bank had to give him this loan, 1.77 trillion, which is $2.2 billion. So is that why? Because he was saying there that Nigerians, they are suffering, Nigerian is doing this one. Nigeria, but you keep borrowing money and then spending it lavishly, spending money like spending money like it is so easy to get. So he knows that Nigeria is in this kind of condition, but he keeps borrowing and then lavishing the money. So the question is, why are they still borrowing? Because we're not seeing any use. We're not seeing anything they use this money to do. So there is something that they're not telling Nigerians, even as they are being crushed by a combination of their failed trial and error policies and loan rackets. I feel a sense of personal agony seeing that just a few years after the administration of President Obasanjo took our country out of foreign indebtedness, we are today back at the top spot in the same conundrum. So we know that Obasanjo, during his time was the one that took Nigeria out of, foreign indebtedness. He came in and cleared up the debts that other presidents left behind. Obasanjo tried. He came in. So, many people have come to fault Obasanjo saying, during his time, Obasanjo really tried in his time because he cleared the loan. He cleared the loan is a very bad thing. And then if a country is owing, there will not be progress. If a country is owing and not using the money well, when the country obtain a loan, the country is going to be facing backwardness. But then Obasanjo during his time cleared Nigeria or took Nigeria away from indebtedness, foreign indebtedness, and now it is so appalling that just Obasanjo after Obasanjo, I think we had good luck. After good luck, we had we had Buhari from Buhari, we had Tinubu. We had Tinubu now. So Obasanjo cleared the debts, the whole debts we are owing, the ones that the other president left behind before he came. He cleared it, and then it's so appalling that just how many presidents, just and which I know that Tinubu is the most president that borrowed too much. Just 1 year and a half, just 1 year in seats. 1 year and some months in seats. See, he has borrowed. We can't even count how many times he has gone to borrow, and then he will not use the money well. It is not good. It is so appalling. So it is so bad that today we have gotten to the third most indebted country in the world. It is so bad. So reading on, it says the former vice president added, it is time to apply more cautions and arithmetic to the loan frenzy. Reading on, it says, according to him, the recent World Bank reports pegging Nigerians at the third most development he says according to him, the recent World Bank reports pegging Nigerians as the third most indebted country to the National Development Association IDA is worrying. Imagine. The recent report released by the World Bank showing Nigeria as the third most indebted country to the International Development Association IDA is very concerning, he said. So guys, that was what Atiku said. With all these things he's doing, I believe that one day Nigerians is going to rise against him, because one day his cup will full and Nigerians will rise against him. So, guys, let me know your own thoughts under the comment section. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you're saying. And, guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If this is the first time you're coming across BCM breaking news, hit the subscribe button, like, and share this video. So, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.